Hey, this is Tanner Guimont from Kingsmen, and you're listening to X After Dark.
My voice has gone all sniffly because it's so cold, so I apologize for that.
Nah, no worries, man. That is what it is, you know? Gotta drink some tea and honey, brother.
Yeah, true. Maybe I should be back in the cup. So, first and foremost, congratulations. You know, you've just released your first full length, you know, your first LP, and dude, I was surprised it was your first album because it's, you know, it's so refined and tidy. You really knew what you were doing with this one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a few years in the making. You know, Kingsman kind of came together, what was it? I mean, we first started thinking about being a band late 2016, kind of started hitting shows in 2017, and all the while we didn't really have music out there, so we were trying to, you know, write this stuff in the background. But one of our biggest things that we wanted to do, just for our own personal kind of gain, you know, as musicians, is finding a good producer who, you know, was empathetic and energetic about, you know, what we were going for, and, you know, finding Mark Lewis and working with him, which, you know, if you're not familiar with him, he's worked with bands like Trivium, Devil Driver, Whitechapel, Black Dahlia Murder, all these, you know, phenomenal metal musicians. So we kind of wanted to find someone somewhere in that caliber that believed in us and really wanted to work with us, and weren't just going to say, hey, yeah, I got studio time, come by and record. Mark showed that interest. He had that energy we were looking for, and, you know, we had already kind of worked on these songs for years, so going into the studio with him was really, really easy because they were already pretty much done, and he just kind of helped you know, tighten some loose screws here and there. And yeah, so if it sounds like it's right together, trust me, we did have a good amount of time to kind of work on this one. But we're very glad that it's getting the reception it is right now. I'm very humble and very, very happy. You know, I would have never thought that, you know, my music would ever touch as many people as it has thus far, you know, so it's a cool feeling, man.
Yeah, well, it's good, so it should be reaching as many people as possible. I was, you know, before this, you've only really released, you know, that 4-track EP. Was it a big decision to kind of jump into from 4 tracks to 11 before you did like a 6-track EP afterwards?
Yeah, well, when we released the 4-track one, we had put that up, and our management kind of pointed out, they're like, hey, these songs are great, you know, you guys probably should, you know, go in with a better producer, because we did those ourselves. So, you know, me and Tim, my guitarist, we both have recording set up, so we kind of just did that, and we were like, you know what, we could do these one better, you know, get to a better quality producer and do that. The reason why we really went with a full length, though, is just because of the story. The story that is being told through Revenge, Forgiveness, Recovery kind of required more than like an EP's worth of songs. And, you know, like even like Relapse, like it required that vocal break in it. Like we just, with writing this record, even though we are a metal band, you know, it was never really about being a metal band when we wrote this record. It was really just about, you know, we were both going through a lot, Tim and I being the main songwriters, but even the other guys in our bands happened to be kind of coincidentally going through some pretty tough stuff when we all came together and made this band Kingsman a thing. And, you know, we wanted to just kind of showcase the story while balancing that story lyrically with the way the music flows. And so that's why you see parts that are very melodic and maybe spacey. You see other parts that are thunderous with, you know, just high speed kick drums and, you know, chugging guitars, you know, and that's all placed because of what's being told in the story. You know, obviously we are a metal band and we love metal music, but the reason why we kind of skip in and out of being what some people might call like metal and deathcore and rock or whatever is because we're trying to kind of swim you through the emotions that we all had to swim through when writing this record.
That's really cool. Yeah, I really respect that. There's, speaking of being a metal band on the brim, there's also a country old man quartet called the Kingsmen, if you didn't know.
Oh, trust me, we know. We've had our combos. They're good guys, man. And the Kingsman name meant something to us. Being a Kingsman's kind of always been someone that, protects the king, kind of like, higher authority, right? Well, we kind of always have looked at ourselves as people that kind of protect each other, and we want to spread a positive message. And so, because we have endured what we've endured together, even though they were all kind of separate issues for each individual going through it, we kind of stuck by each other. And Kingsman's just more than just a band, man. We're a family. I mean, it's not uncommon when we're not in a pandemic for each of us to be, having barbecues with each other and going out and, going to the bars or whatever it is. We do a lot of things, kind of family oriented. It's just kind of how our lives have kind of brought us through making music. It's kind of where we ended up. We just became more than kind of a band, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I could go for a barbecue right now, to be honest. Sounds good.
Oh, me too, man.
But I have a ton of respect for your album, and I can definitely pick up on all that emotion that you've put into it. It's obviously not just for you, but you've written it in a way that, I'm going through a lot of personal emotions at the moment, and I'm sure everyone else listening is. How do you think that an album can begin to heal people?
Well, so it's funny you say that, because I feel like, as all of us as like musicians, well, not musicians, but music lovers, I feel like it's one of those things where whenever anyone's going through something, sometimes we've all experienced it as people that love music, right? We're driving, or I don't know, we're working, or we're working out, or we're just sitting on our couch, I don't know. But you're listening to music, and you're thinking about something that might be troubling you, or something that maybe isn't troubling you, maybe it's something that you're happy about. And all of a sudden that right song comes on in the right moment, while that thought kind of just swings by your brain, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, that song just spoke to me and kind of woke me up a little bit, maybe made me realize something I didn't realize before. I gained more appreciation for something. I think that's the most beautiful thing to music, is that it can do that to us. And, one of the biggest hopes that I have for our album, like you just said yourself, I mean, I think all of us are going through something right now. This viral outbreak has really kind of put a damper on life. It's tough. A lot of people are separated from each other, and you can't do your normal day-to-day things that you used to be able to. And I know you guys, there's different areas in the world that are dealing with certain things too, like forest fires and stuff like that. It's like, finding an album right now that can shine some light on a situation that, maybe wouldn't have been shown without listening to that music is extremely helpful, And it was funny, when we were about to release this record, we kind of thought, because of what was going on in the world, that it might not be a good idea, almost because it's like too real, because we were like, man, we're talking about some heavy stuff right now, and there's like, a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world today. But we decided to kind of push through it, because we were like, you know what, maybe this is the time to release it, because maybe things just kind of fell in place and said, you know what, a lot of people are going to need to hear this right now. And it seems like that is the case. We're getting a lot of people that message us, a lot of people that are reaching out to me personally, talking to me about how the lyrics are affecting them. And I never want to hear about someone going through a hard time, but to hear that our music has not just been something that someone wants to bang their head to, but it's actually something that, it's soaked in on a deeper layer of their person, and it made them maybe grow or get their head out of the gutter, whatever it is. That is the stuff that I personally live for as a musician. That means 1,000 times more to me than, playing a show in front of 1,000 people that are moshing and going crazy. If we can impact your life and help you grow as a person, that hands down, man, that just doesn't just make my day, make my year, it makes my life, man. It really does.
That's sick, bro. Do you personally have like a favorite lyric that's come off the album, something that's really powerful for you to sing?
In Waste Away, the song Waste Away, before the last chorus kicks in, I just tell myself simply, like, don't waste away again. That whole little line right there, my frustrations will be the death of me. When I was writing this record, I had gone through so much, man. I lost friends to suicide, murder, lost family members. A girl I went out with forever broke up with me the same day. One of my most precious grandmothers in this world died. Like, it was just tough, man, and I was I'm not going to lie. I was deep in the bottle, man, drinking a lot of whiskey, too much, and thankfully I drink socially now, but, kicked the habit of just waking up and popping a bottle every day because I was so upset at what was going on. When I hear that lyric, it always reminds me of how I pulled through those dark times every single time. Just actually a few days ago, I was driving, and I happened to be driving through an area where it was like a bridge through a lake, and that lyric popped on, and I was a little ticked off that day. And right when I heard that, I said, "Yeah, no, Tanner, you told yourself yet again, relax. It's not worth the frustrations, because if you bury yourself in being frustrated every day with what's going on, it does nothing but bad to you. It's all about realizing why you're frustrated and why and how to defeat those frustrations and get out of what's really kind of tormenting you, So.
Yeah, man. That's deep. You're really speaking to me right now, and I hope that message particularly can get to some people who really need to hear it.
I do too, man. I'm telling you, this record wasn't a record that we wrote, we could have done so much more if we sat down and said, you know what, we just want to write a record and just bang your head to, right? It wasn't about that, and it never was about that. It was really about the message. And to just hear even you say that right now, man, like I kind of felt it in the tone right there, like that to me, it really means a lot, and I hope that maybe if after this conversation you listen to it and you text me or shoot me a message, you're like, man, like things are good now. That would be the most amazing thing to hear from anybody right now, is that I listened to your record and things are good now,
Well, I have listened to the record twice actually, and it's definitely experience. I do personally really like it, and it's one of those albums that really does take you through a journey. And I'm just giving my personal opinion here. I'm gonna go listen to it again probably. So thanks for it. To end on a slightly higher note, before I burst out crying, tell me, I've always wanted to be able to convey those angry sort of vocals that you do, those really from the back of the throat type deal. Give me some tips. Give me some vocal warm-up type tips.
I got a couple of good ones for you, man. It's tough not doing it in person with you because it's better for me, because I've actually given some vocal lessons to people who want to get into screaming. One of the biggest things is breath and how you breathe. I'm sure you've probably read that online if you ever Googled it. One of the first things that anyone's ever going to tell you, but one of the tricks that I can give you to actually help, like the power that your scream can have, is if you can breathe in through your nose and your mouth at the same time, absorb all that oxygen inside your diaphragm, and then absorb it until the point where you feel like you're going to pop, right? Stop and blink, and then kind of pucker your lips as if you were trying to blow through a straw and blow the air out, but kind of squeeze your lips to the point where it's like you're barely letting the air escape, but you're pushing with your diaphragm to push that air out. So it's like your diaphragm is kind of fighting your mouth to get the air out. That actually will increase your lung power over time. So if you repeat this exercise a couple of times a day, you'll find yourself, for lack of any better term, barking screams a lot louder, a lot more fierce. That's a very, very kind of old school trick. I've learned that because I've been singing, and I've done chorus, had a couple of private teachers in my day for just normal singing, not for screaming, but just from talking to other screamers. It's something that I kind of picked up over the years, and I'm at the point now where you'll see when we play live that there are certain lyrics that I can just take the microphone away and scream it, and I'll be almost as loud as if I was screaming through the PA. And depending on what we're playing, obviously, but if we're talking the typical, anywhere between 80 to 300 so capacity kind of venue or something like that, yeah, it can happen. And it's because I've been doing that for 10 years. I've been screaming for about that time. But that one's a big one. And then cause. I don't know if anyone's ever taught you ka, and this is one that I wish I could see you in person right now, because the only way I'm going to make sure you're doing it correctly. But just saying ka, but kind of getting that same breathy feel to your throat as if you were screaming like ah. If you can do that and kind of like make it like a high ka, like a ka, and then like a low ka, like a caw. You do that repeatedly in the same pitch. So you want to just do high kaws together and then like rest for 30 seconds to a minute, and then maybe do low kaws together. doing that's another popular warm-up that I'll do, because you don't actually have to scream to prepare your voice to get into the kind of, and not your voice, but really your vocal box, your larynx. You prepare that whole muscle structure to scream. So like if you're ever in an area where you're like, oh, I gotta scream right now or something, like for me, I've been in venues where it's like, oh, this isn't a really good green room to practice right now. I'll go somewhere and do that, and no one even knows what I'm doing because it's so quiet. But then when I go on stage, my screams are just ready to go.
Sick. I suppose my goal now is to get good enough that when you finally arrive in Sydney, you can get me on stage to help scream with you.
Well, let me tell you something. That should be your goal, and I'm gonna make sure you live up to that goal. So
it's gonna be so awkward if I get on stage and I can't scream. Well, thank you anyway. I really do appreciate not only your help in my journey to scream, but you've been really honest with me about your new release, and hopefully everyone will get out there and listen to Revenge, Forgiveness, and Recovery.
First to the door, last one in sight. You tripled your score while he checked his pulse, and now you're free to let yourself ignite in a strange.
This is Parker from the Criticals, and you're listening to Double X After Dark.
Hey, Criticals, how are you?
Howdy, it's good to be here.
Mimosa hygiene has been circling my playlist all week, and now, quite frankly, I'm craving a mimosa. What are your favourite cocktails?
Honestly, most of the time we drink Miller High Life, but sometimes when we're out we drink Old Fashions.
It's an awesome album cover. What's it like to hold a snake? That's been one of my goals for a while.
My dad's a dog whisperer, and we've always had animals growing up, but snakes are a whole different game.
The crazy thing about snakes is they actually blush when they get nervous or scared, so that entire shoot, they were not only hissing at us, but blushing at us.
What's the response been like to the new single?
It's great. It's been 3 months since we put out a single, so it feels good to start releasing music again.
Has the pandemic had an effect on you as a band? The reach of the song, your practice, recording schedule, all that?
I think every person on the planet has been affected by this pandemic. What's been beautiful for us has been the ability to reflect on what is normalcy in our old lives and kind of understand what is actually necessary and what's not. In terms of us as artists, we've had a lot of time to hone our craft and record and write a lot of new songs. So honestly, the pandemic has been beautiful for our creative minds.
I'm intrigued about your photo shoots. You guys are very, very attractive, very stylish lads. Is that in hopes of getting Kate Moss to notice you?
Well, Kate Moss is first and foremost. That's why I post any picture of my mug.
Tell me how you'll decide what to wear in a photo shoot.
We're really lucky and fortunate to live in such a creative community in Nashville where we're constantly inspired by our outside world. So yeah, every time we have a photo shoot, we take very, very, very much time really thinking about building an exterior world that represents our band, but also the songs that we write.
Now, you guys are coming straight out of Nashville. Living in Australia, even though I know that's a big place for music, typically country. How has Nashville shaped you as musicians?
What a lot of people don't understand is the amount of legacy artists that still live in Nashville. So when we were coming up, some of the first bands that we started in grade school, you would go over to the kid's house, you go over to the drummer's house, and it would be the son of some huge star. So we had access to studios and equipment and incredible mentors at a really, really young age.
What's the scene like? Is it hard to be a non-country act, or has it kind of evolved past that?
A lot of people see Nashville through this lens of country music, but the truth is people come here to pursue all different types of art. The scene is very, very alive. I mean, we grew up going to punk shows and basements where everybody had a 40 in their hand, and then the next night we would end up at a rave where everybody's wearing a mask. So the scene is there. It's just you have to be touched by it. It's a city of exclusivity, unfortunately, where you kind of have to be touched by the scene to be a part of it. But it exists and is very fruitful.
Is this single part of something bigger? Like a new EP, new album? What's going on?
Yes, we've been working on a lot of music, and we're very excited to put it out soon.
Thanks, man.
Really appreciate it, dude.
I just never knew how. So come on, step up, dream on, later, give me every inch of your love. Because I might be addicted to you.
Hello, this is Shay from Wilde, and you're listening to Double X After Dark on SWA 99.9.
Joined by Wilde from the UK. I read something vague about you guys being blacklisted from all your hometown venues. How wild are you?
How wild are we? How wild do you want us to be? I'm growing my hair out at the minute. I guess you could say I was looking pretty wild. Nah, but honestly, don't worry about how wild we are. Listen to our songs or see us live and judge us on that. But the name Wilde comes from when me and Reese were in school studying a play by Oscar Wilde called The Importance of Being Honest. The band was formed in 2015 and managed to score a gig with the help of our manager Jim at a place called popular club in Coventry called the Casbah, which is like Rock the Casbah by The Clash, the tune, but this one spelled with a K. So it was early days for us really, and I think the owners of the club knew that, and I thought they wanted to try take advantage of what they thought was three of us. There was only three in the band at the time, three young lads. But no, that's not how it goes. So firstly, there was no payment for the gig, so we weren't expecting a big massive paycheck. Do you know what I mean? It was only one of our first gigs, but I think bands should always get paid for when they do a gig. But anyway, they managed to fork out a few beers for us, which was fair enough. But get this right, they didn't want us to drink the beers before the gig. They wanted us to wait till the gig's finished, pay for drinks at the bar or whatever, and then take the beers with us wherever we were going after. So either home or to the next club or pub. What the hell? Never heard of that before. So anyway, we played our gig, which everyone loved. And before the last song of the set, I decided to dedicate the song to the owners of the Casbah. And our final song was called Maybe I'm Paranoid. And we don't actually play it anymore, but it's quite a sort of spooky, dark song. Catchy, but gradually builds and builds and builds till it reaches the sort of climax. And when we finally got there, the end of the set, the end of the song, I went full on Pete Townsend on this microphone stand, smashing it on the cymbals, poking it in the stage floor, like waving it above my head. And I'll never forget everyone's faces in the crowd. They were like open-mouthed, gobsmacked, except for this one guy who was absolutely loving it. So after the song was finished, we went back upstairs because we went back to our changing room thinking we were rock stars, and started to drink those beers that they gave us. We thought, gig's finished, gotta get the beers down us. But soon after, the bouncers came up and they asked us to leave, and we were like, yeah, fair enough. We don't mind, didn't want to stay anyway. We got some beers to drink. But yes, things soon escalated, and we were thrown down the famous Casbah ramp and told that we owed them £400. £400 for a microphone stand. No thanks. See you later. We don't want to play at your club anyway. And I think it was after that when sort of news got around to different clubs from Coventry that we were obviously too wild for them. And yeah, we did find it pretty hard to get gigs after that in our hometown. So we sort of branched out to Birmingham, played some gigs over there. We went all over the UK, went up to Leeds. We formed a good following in Leeds, playing at a place called Verve Bar, played at the Key Club. So it didn't sort of hinder us really, but the ease of having sort of gigs in your hometown where you can get loads of people there, yeah, we sort of missed out on that to begin with. But do we regret it? No, we don't regret it. We weren't going to be messed around by apparently the biggest club in Coventry. And besides, everyone knew there was a new band in town and Wilde was serious and we were going to make a name for ourselves.
Tell me the pros and cons of your local scene. Obviously, I'm down under. I don't really know about the trends in UK music. Are you riding a wave of common sound? Does Wilde stick out against other bands?
In terms of musical trends, I think there are definitely aspects and commonalities that fit our music with the UK musical trend as a whole. I think what makes us stand out is that we take these little commonalities and little aspects of these trends and twist them in our own little way. So I think if you were to listen to our songs Nice and Easy or Such a Heavy Load or one that we've shortly got coming out, I don't think you would find another song quite like it, especially locally anyway. Wasted's a song that follows the trends a little bit more, but it's still wild. It still has that wild feeling. So I think we definitely make it our own. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to play with these boys.
How do surrounding artists tend to react to you? Have you had good experiences with them, bad experiences with them?
No, when it came to meeting other bands, meeting other artists, good experiences or bad experiences, when we play our shows, we socialise with them, we talk to them, get on with them. But we don't really have neither a good experience or a bad experience. We just kind of get on with it. At the end of the day, we put the work in, and I'm not saying they don't. They do. There's a lot of great people out there, but I think a lot of people tend to be quite surprised when they see us and then go up, and when we go up and they hear us, I think it's people really, really expected us to sound the way we do. We put the work in, and I think we've got the best songs and we're the best live band around where we are at the moment. So we typically get good feedback, and everybody gets bad feedback, but it's just still jealousy, I suppose.
Proceed?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, sick. Alright, Holding Abstinence is a band who pour passion into every note, beat and syllable. I'm joined today by bass player James Joseph. God, I love saying your name, dude. I was practicing in the mirror saying James Joseph over and over again.
It's the alliteration. It's actually not my real name. My real name is James Evans, but I figured James Joseph's easier to remember. I hope that's right.
It's like superheroes. Stan Lee always gave his heroes alliterating names because they were easier to remember. Peter Parker, Stephen Strange.
There we go. Does that mean no? But if you're calling me super, I'll take that.
Well, who's your favorite superhero?
Ooh, that's a good question. Is there a right answer to this?
No.
I think the films I enjoy the most are Iron Man, so I'll just go with Iron Man. Otherwise, I'll just be here deliberating it for the next half an hour, and I don't think you listeners.
You'll call me.
The bass player of Holding Abstinence thinks about every superhero.
You'll call me in half an hour and be like, "No, I changed my answer. I overthought it."
Yeah, please, I'll ring you in the middle of the night.
On a slightly more serious note, I've been listening to a lot of Holding Abstinence, and good stuff, my man.
Oh, thank you very much.
There's a lot of emotion put into your music. It's very, I was almost crying listening to Your Love Has Ruined My Life.
Oh yes, yeah.
Are you a naturally emotional person?
I think we try and take the stance of encouraging people to accept that it's okay to be emotional, because the thing that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people I don't know. I can't comment on Australia, for example, but especially in Britain, the done thing is to try and mask any emotions. Especially for men, you find very often you get a lot of guys shouldn't cry, or if people say man up a lot of the time and things like that. So our ethos as a band is to try and encourage people to be okay with being emotional. When you feel sad, it's fine to be sad. It's just part of life, really. All of Lucas's lyrics kind of explore the human condition. And, so yeah, where I get emotional, I'm just chatting about it, mate. But I think that's the thing that keeps us all enjoying this band, is the fact that there is real emotion throughout it all. Yeah.
And I think, especially in recent generations and years, we are sort of tearing that down a bit, especially with men. I'm quite an advocate for men talking about mental health, and and I think it's definitely good to provide people with an outlet for that. I suppose you're using it as an outlet as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there'll be times where my musical tastes will sometimes differ so far from what we actually band, where I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I even like. There'll be some days where I'm like, I don't even know if I like these songs anymore. But then I'll play them live, and I'll still feel the emotion, regardless of whether I like a song or not. And it'll all come flooding back. It still means so much.
That's
like
interesting.
songs we wrote together 5 years ago, still kind of in the feels. Like, yeah.
Well, you've just released 2 singles now, Birdcage and Gravity. Which one do you like the best out of those? Do you like those?
Personally, I prefer Gravity.
Sick.
Personally, I prefer Gravity. Essentially, with those 2 songs, they're kind of weird for us because we wrote them during a time where we found out that we weren't going to be touring America anymore. We had an American tour booked for November last year, and our touring visas got declined. Hashtag fuck Trump. No, just kidding. But we were gutted about that, and all we could do at the time is we had a couple of days to be sad, and that's okay, as I said before. But then we decided all we could do is just get together and try and write some songs and just keep the wheels of the band turning, really, because part of being in a band is all about just trying to keep going, like, and trying to do things so people discover you, and so your band can just grow. So we thought the best thing to do would just be to try and do 2 songs that wouldn't be on an album or anything, just 2 standalone songs, and then the label suggested that we put them on a physical release and do like a double A side.
Okay, that does explain a lot, because you obviously just released your first 11-track album. It was a big release for you last year, and I was wondering, how the hell are you getting so much new material out fast?
Oh yeah, it was definitely that. We've always loved the idea of like putting out lots of music, and really, like, not to say some bands are lazy, but it isn't, like, nowadays it is easy to release music, so we're quite inspired by like a lot of like how a lot of like hip hop groups and things just always are putting out new music. I suppose the only difference between them and us is we do still believe in albums being hugely important, like they give context to a lot of the songs and things like that. But seriously, we're always writing, because I guess we're trying to make the most of the period where we're all still best mates and we all still enjoy writing music, because I've been binging a bunch of music documentaries since this lockdown started, and it's evident to see that not all bands stay like that forever.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any good recommendations on there? Because I've been looking for some.
Oh man, I could go all day. I think the best series I've ever watched, and I rewatched it recently, is the Defiant ones. They're about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine.
Oh yeah.
And it's heavily rap to start, but then it becomes a lot about rock, because Jimmy Iovine, like, he produced like the Beatles and U2, and then it's crazy. Like, on the same day, one of them discovers Eminem and 9 Inch Nails.
I've just been watching a shit ton of anime in isolation, and that's one of the reasons I like.
Oh, cool. Anything in particular that's like piqued your interest?
Well, they chucked all the Studio Ghibli films onto Netflix, so I've been watching.
They did, yeah. My girlfriend loves those. Like, I've watched 1 or 2 with her, like Howls and.
Yeah. Porco Roscoe's a good one.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that one out.
It ends with just 2 people like shooting each other in a plane, and then their planes crash, and then they just punch each other, and one's a pig, and it's just
amazing.
And that's why I like Gravity as well. It sounds like an opening to one of those really over dramatic animes. You know how that build starts.
Yeah. Oh man, we should definitely try and get in on that scene. Like, imagine if we were able to do like an OTT version of one of our songs that could become like an anime, like crazy intro. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not part of any future releases. You're not, what are you working on next?
No, we're. So I can't say too much, but whenever any band says this, it's so lame. So there's lots of music that we have. But to be honest, I'm not really leaking too much because we don't know when it's coming out anymore. There was, annoyingly, right, I spent the whole of February making this grand plan of how we were going to take over the world and all that jazz. And then coronavirus came along.
Yeah.
And now we don't even know when is a good. The worst thing with us is your second release is almost always has to be the one where you really step it up, and like that determines whether you're going to be a band for the next 5 years or the next 5 minutes.
Right.
And not that we're overly, we do this band regardless because we love it, but you want your second release to be like the one that really does well for you. And so we had this crazy plan, and it was going to be really good, and now we don't know because everything keeps getting cancelled. Like we had a lot of stuff in June and July, and that's all been moved to September and August. But now there's a chance that in the UK, September and August will still be off the cards for mass gatherings. But essentially, we have a ton of new music that we can't wait to share with people, and we do feel really good about it. It's just making sure we pick the right time. But in the meantime, I think we're all just trying to make as much cool content as we can. Like I do like Twitch streaming quite a lot, where I play like games or like play music live. Our singer Lucas does a bunch of like live streams. Our drummer Ash does all sorts of drum related bits and bobs.
What's your Twitch? I'll follow you.
Oh mate, that's it. Gotta get a plug in. It's,
Exactly.
It's twitch.tv/JamesJosephXDX.
Oh, too easy.
Oh man, I wanted just this is weird because I've already told the story today, but I wanted just James Joseph, because that would have felt cool. But there's a famous like gay bodybuilder who looks amazing, by the way. But he has just James Joseph. But to move on from that, if anyone does think that's my body, then I'm happy to pretend it is.
Fool everyone until they take your shirt off.
The best thing is, if you go on Google Images, loads of pictures of me just being my like sort of cringy self, and then there's loads of pictures of this guy's abs. So I'm hoping that people think it's all me.
Bro, I did. Do you know cattle decapitation?
Yeah, man, I put those guys on in Cardiff a few years back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did an interview with Travis Ryan, the vocalist, and like he's this massive, like he hates the idea of humanity, and he's screaming about everything. He's this very angry guy. He's a nice guy, but he's like very angry in his content. And there's a very popular Christian singer-songwriter called Travis Ryan who lives like 40 minutes from him. And they got the same name, and he can't have like a Facebook artist page because everyone thinks he's a Christian singer-songwriter now.
Mate, that's so funny. Yeah, cause you imagine his fans being irate after all these years of pig squealing about the destruction of humanity and all that.
No, I'm thinking of the other end.
He's realised there's money in Christian. What's that?
I'm thinking of all the Christian people at church going, "Oh, I'd love to hear some more Travis Ryan," and then finding cattle decapitation.
Oh god, yeah, true. Fair one.
All right then. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk about anime and cattle decapitation and gay bodybuilders.
That's a great. That's perfect.
I feel like this was a very productive time.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten to the subject of food. That's usually where I really come alive. So if you want to do it again sometime.
Yeah,